Some years before his death, my father took the scenic route along the Han River on the drive back into the city. Having only then discovered his lineage, he offered me the name he might have given me in another life, in which the names of his relatives weren't struck out by the stroke of the 38th parallel, and his history not elided in the memory hole of his family's grief in this suspended peacetime. I asked him if he could change the gendered syllable block, how that might reshape the meaning, as if a river could be captured in the transformation of a vowel sound, and so stuck him there, between the tiger and the water. Some years after, I crossed the Han River on the flight from Incheon to my connection in Chicago. From the window seat, I overlaid the river with the memory of his neck as it appeared with his body on the slat. The Han River is formed by the confluence of the Bukhan River and the Namhan River. It winds through Seoul before it merges with the Imjin River, where in 1951, in the first thrust of the Chinese Spring Offensive, the PVA attempted a breakthrough of the UN line to recapture the capital. It then flows into an estuary out to the Yellow Sea. In Hangul, the tributaries of the Han River are homophones with the acronyms for North and South Korea. This is merely a coincidence, as the Hanja for the Han River uses the character for Chinese instead of the one for Korea, with the former being the transliteration of the native Korean word for great, large, or wide. Han is also the Korean word for resentment, and uses a character which means hatred, pity, or regret. As a modern concept, Han arose during the Japanese occupation of Korea from stereotypes of Korean culture, and developed into a post-colonial identity from the turmoil of the 20th century. Among its many meanings, Han is associated with the separation of families during the Korean War. Han is also my mother's maiden name, which she kept throughout her marriage to him, though this is largely irrelevant. How does coincidence become synchronicity? The Han River is where North and South converge. It flows from east to west, the way old smoke might rise from the lungs to haunt the throat, or how he might follow the arch of our unadorned finger with the point of his thumb, or how the tip of the scalpel might have traveled over his neck, with his body parallel to the divide. There are 27 bridges that cross the Han River over the Seoul capital area. The one I saw him last, his sutures were overlaid in white cloth. At the river's mouth, the upper jaw is shaped by the teeth of the demilitarized zone.